Time for another Create with Kate.
So you're ready to go. I've got a cup of tea. What are we doing? Do I have a cup? I'm just having my tea.
I just thought I'd knock you up a wee planter for over in Colourful.
Just
Corner.
a wee one? So you've seen us make the planters out front, which are just long rectangle planters. The next step up was...
HMS Dahlia!
We're calling it HMS Dahlia because it was as big as a boat, but it's multi-level and different heights and out different bits, so it's not boring in any way. The next one.
So, quick 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll be done.
We have done heaps of planning in advance.
Yes.
So, we're not just... You know what we're like. We've done this lots of times. You know how thorough Kate is with our planning. It's going to be fine.
Yes.
We're hoping today we will get it built and tomorrow we'll get it planted up. That's the hope.
That's the plan.
Because I've got 300 spring bulbs to put in it. That's an interesting bit of paper, dear.
Well, this piece of paper here, this is a very important piece of paper.
What's on your bit of paper?
This is my cutting plan.
Okay.
So, having built several planters before, what I've worked out is that rather than cut each piece and then put it together and then cut the next bit, where you might end up with wastage and bits left over that you can't use for this, I've worked out every single piece that I'm going to need in a flat pack furniture kind of a way. So I've made a list so that I can be efficient and say, this is how many pieces I need that are that length, this is how many pieces I need that are the next length, and I can just cut them all in one go, assemble them, well, put them in piles of, these are the ones that I need, because this is going to be a 3-section planter, although I'll screw it all together, it will come apart into 3 individual pieces. So what we'll do is cut all the pieces and then put them together into 3 piles of which ones go with which planter, and then we can start assembling.
Okay, I'm impressed. You clearly have thought this through.
Yes.
So tell me about your planning then, because this is epic. This is epic planter build with Kate.
Well, I looked at the space that we had, looked at what we did with Dahlia and how we kind of liked that multi-step, multi-level kind of thing.
Can I just do this one, because I don't get the credit, but Dahlia's design was me.
Yes,
I came up with this idea of the multi-step and things.
I built the lifeboat.
You built the whole thing, but I just held the wood.
So I kind of did a rough sketch of what I wanted to do over here, and you 3D rendered it for me, which was lovely.
Which is how my brain works.
Because that's how your brain works. But I needed a tactile, actual.
Yeah, so there were 2
things
things
I changed my design.
You did, but
having made it.
Let me give you a little tour of Kate's brain, because I got to watch this. So there was the tactile thing. I watched you doing the whole turning it around and everything. So I'm fine doing that and dragging it around on a screen. You were like, no, turning it, did I? But I actually saw you did a second model that we didn't, because we told everyone about your first model. I didn't show you the second one. I saw you doing it where you actually cut bits of paper to scale.
Yes, I did.
For each piece of wood.
Yes, I did.
And then you rebuilt it. Yes. So that you knew exactly how many pieces of wood, its sizes and stuff.
Hence the cutting plan, so I could go, right, if I cut this piece that long, then what do I use this bit of? So made the most efficient plan. So if I've got this right, I should end up with 2 30-centimetre long pieces left over that I don't use.
What, correction, you don't use for this?
I don't use it. I'll use it for
you've
something
got a
else.
stash of bits of wood that are so useful.
But I've worked it out so that there's the least amount of wastage.
We're going to come back at the end then and we're going to
see if I got it right.
It's right if you just get these 2 30-centimetre bits.
I've got matches, I can burn anything that I didn't. No, I'm kidding. So that's 2 at 90 centimetres.
So what's next?
Right, so these two need to be cut into two 40cm lengths and two 50cm lengths. So this one's
So it's two cuts.
It's been cut into 4 sections.
Right, okay.
At different lengths because they will end up for different purposes. So it gives like a big giant jigsaw puzzle.
I liked you describing it as flat pack, but cheaper than flat pack. So that's your 40.
So I need a 40. Another 40.
Okay. And then a 30.
No, a 50.
50, sorry. Where did I get 30 from?
I have no idea. You're making it up as you're going along. So a 50.
From there. So that's 130.
Thank you. I was just going to have to do that math and go.
So is that all the sawing done? Except for the corner posts?
Apart from the corner posts
And the
the feet.
That is all the flat pieces of wood are actually the build.
Yeah,
They're
that's all
done.
the sides and the bases.
But, I mean, you've seen us using, I've been using that to square up. But we have these, what are these called? Because they're not fence posts or anything.
no, I don't know what they describe.
I
them
like
as.
how in the States they have like 2x2s and 2x4s and we don't do that.
Yeah, these are framing posts. I don't know what there's probably. It tells you something.
Yeah, it doesn't have a fancy name.
So there's
But
38 mil.
What we're using these for is these are our corner posts.
Yes.
And these will be used for feet and for the base to give it its
to
rigidity.
to hold
Yeah.
the base in place.
So we have to saw all these now.
Saves us getting.
So tell me then, where do we stand? What have we done? What needs done? Have you seen the clouds behind you?
Oh man, no. So if we assemble it, well, if we put together its
Yeah.
bits,
So
that's all its bottom, that's all its boards,
right, next.
and then it needs two for the front end, two for the upper section, a false midpoint, and 4 for the back. Okay, so that is all the boards that are needed to make that one.
Okay, so that is one piece.
And it needs, well no, it needs 4 90cm long ones, which must be these ones, of which there are only 4. So that
Is
is planter 1.
Okay.
Planter 2 then needs 1. Now I look like an air steward, or I'm landing a plane. 2 1.3 metre for each side, and 3 for the base. So that's
Okay.
2, 4, 7, which are these.
Right, so that's that.
It then needs 2 40cm boards for each side.
These are 40.
Yeah, so it's those ones.
These are 50.
Yes, so not those ones.
So how
These-
many?
So
Two.
there should be 4.
Okay. Okay.
It then needs 250s for this end,
That's the
250s for the midpoint, and 4 for the end.
So 250s.
For the end, 2 for the midpoint, and 4 for the end.
4 for the end. Okay.
And then the square planter needs
That.
4 fours, 4 60 centimetres for the sides, and I think I worked out it was 4 for the base. So there should be 2 sides, 2 sides, and the base.
And the base.
So all of these bits are the square ones.
So that's the 3 planters.
Yeah. So there are your main pieces. So all you need now is the little guy with his screwdriver in the instructions that goes, and now assemble! Avengers assemble! No, planters assemble! We go that way to begin with. That bottom board's got a warp in it. It's also got a split. Yeah. If we put all the corners in first, and then if I need to put a middle one in,
You'll know you've got the right stuff for it.
I think I did. I think.
What was it?
I said, if it feels like the battery is starting to go, I've got another 2 ready to go in the house. Is that level?
It is day 2. We didn't get it finished yesterday, but we got a good chunk done. But let me catch you up on the bits you guys have missed out on. So I spoke about these pieces of batten and how we're using them for the corners. So this is a good example. This is the bottom part of the bigger of the planters. And you can see here we've got 2 shorter pieces of the batten in the corners, and both sides are screwed to this. So that's what kind of holds it together. We use that to make the corners. We've got different sizes because we're going to have different levels, sort of tiers and heights. So you can see here, it's that same battening, but what we've done is we've used a longer piece in these corners because there's going to be a tier on this side that'll make that another level up like this. So there you go. So if you know HMS style, you already recognise this sort of idea. So those longer corner posts I showed you there is exactly the same thing we used to then put this tier on the top, because as you see, it's just attached. Now the other thing, so this is actually the box that's going to sit at the front. But what I wanted to show you is the difference between our raised beds and our planters, out of breath from moving there, joy of COVID. The difference between the raised beds and planters is the planters, we generally have them on our patio or on our paving. So we want a base in them because they're not going to go into the ground. So that's what we've got here. And what we do is we use some of these same wooden slats to make the base. And we always make sure there's a decent gap for drainage that you can see there. Now how that's going to work, you'll see is when we're finished, we'll actually line these with polythene, black polythene, and that just helps to protect the wood a little bit, make it last longer. And what we'll do is we'll actually make holes that coincide with these slats here, and that's where the drainage will be. So we're just going to finish this one, and then we'll get back to you when we start putting it all together. Because you remember Kate was saying that it's going to be modular? So it's 3 pieces, this one, and that one, and then we'll put it together in the corner. Ta-da! But also, it's just worth explaining, it's not going to live here. We're just laying it out to just look just now before it moves over here. But also, if you get that bit, and I get this bit, it's like Lego for the garden. Ready? So it's 3 pieces, modular. Feet, all we're doing is, some of this stuff again, is going on the bottom, and then it's screwed into place, and all it does is just raise it slightly off the ground. Again, it's about the drainage and not having the wood sitting on the paving because it's wet a lot of the year and it'll just start to rot. So it's just that little bit of least amount of contact with the ground and drainage and stuff. But just, these are the feet, nothing fancy. So, you said that you were only going to have 2 30cm bits of wood as wastage. Now's the time. Own up.
Okay, we have one board that we didn't use because it was for aesthetic purposes only.
Is this?
Yes. And we decided we didn't need that. So
Okay.
that doesn't count.
So that's this one.
So that doesn't count.
What are these?
That's my 2 30cm pieces.
Two 30cm pieces.
And I will confess, okay? Because the little front planter is square, I had forgotten to account for the inner dimensions. So I had to cut off these 4 pieces, which are
2 centimetres each.
2.5 centimetres each. So I had those.
So that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Right, we have to line it. I hate that, that's the worst job. We really did think we would get the entire thing done in that weekend, but alas, no. It took us the full weekend to just get the planter built, and it took the next weekend to get it filled and planted. So, join us next week for part 2, when we'll get it filled and planted up, and then you'll see the finished planter. Boy, did we hurt after that one. See you, folks.